television screen, or it's upon the internet screen, or whether it's upon the mobile phone. And we know what's happening in schools. We know what's happening in schools. Young boys and young girls. Young boys and young girls in primary schools and in secondary schools. What are they watching on their mobile phones? You hear it every day on BBC. You see the levels of haram that spread in society, whether Muslims or none. This is a matter of decency. It's not a matter of religion, it's a matter of decency. The levels of decency have dropped so low that we have corrupted children to such an extent that they are watching pornography on their mobile phones. This is what we need to teach our children. How the Prophet's sight would be, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we need to teach our children when they go to school what they will encounter, what they will see, what they will be shown. It's a disaster. The net is a disaster. It's destroying our homes. Forget our homes, it's destroying our iman. We have to wake up to the reality that we live in. It's all easy covering ourselves with masks. But if we don't face the reality that we live in, then that's it, we're gone. And believe me, it's the time that the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-qabidu ala dinihi kal-qabidi ala jamrah. The one who clings onto his religion is like the one who's holding a heated piece of coal. Is like the one who's is like the one who's holding a heated piece of coal. If we don't protect our children from the television screens, behind whom there are people of absolute indecency and haram. And we've seen that when this man, he died and the reports opened up, that a man who had a mask on all his life ended up to be someone who molested children. These are our stars on television. What are our children watching on the net? Do you know what your child is watching? If you don't, you're going to be responsible. If their iman leaves their heart, if their attachment to the Prophet ﷺ is weakened, you're going to be questioned. The Prophet ﷺ said, everyone is responsible. Everyone is responsible. Everyone is mas'ool. وَمَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Everyone is responsible for themselves and is responsible for those who are under them. Their children, those around them, they are responsible for them. See how important it is for us to know and adhere to the sunnah and the way of the Prophet ﷺ. We allow our sight to roam. Whether we like it or not, haram will enter through it. We have to protect our children from these screens. Pornography in schools, that's disgusting. And that's all that happens at break times and lunch times. Boys and girls on their mobile phones watching pornography, wal-'iyadhu billah. It's widespread. We can't hide away from the facts. This is reality. This is the world that we live in. And the only way of coming out of this filthy world is to go and live in the world of the Prophet ﷺ. And that is by allowing the Prophet ﷺ to live in our hearts. Up until the time we do not allow the Prophet ﷺ to live in our hearts, we will live in the filthy world that we're in. We'll live in the disastrous world that we're in. And you know, we're responsible for our iman, and we're responsible for the iman of our children. We're responsible for the iman of our communities. We're responsible for the iman of the believing people. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, the believing people are like a brick wall, right? Each brick strengthens the other. Each brick. The believing people are like a brick wall. Each brick strengthens the other. Then the Prophet said, if one believing person stays up at night due to an illness, the entire ummah should stay awake for that person. The entire ummah should stay awake for that person.
وسعه